So the war in Gaza continues and we are far from stopping. The quote from one of Israel's top military chiefs dispelling hopes that a withdrawal of Israeli forces from the territory is underway. Israel's military has, for sure, withdrawn its troops from the southern Gazan city of Khan Younis, wrapping up then a key phrase in its ground offensive and bringing its troop presence in the territory to one of the lowest levels since the six-month war began. But they are said to be merely regrouping as the army prepares to move into Hamas's last stronghold of Rafah.
The war in Gaza continues, and we are far from stopping. The heads of Hamas are still hiding. We will reach them sooner or later. We will not leave any operative Hamas divisions in any part of the Gaza Strip. We have plans and we will act when we decide.
Our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons, is joining us now from Jerusalem. Rob, first of all, bring us up to date with exactly what the situation appears to be on the ground at the moment, can you?
Yeah, well, as you said, Stuart, it does seem to be now just an operation to recuperate, refit, regather forces and plan the next step. They went into southern Gaza with several aims in mind. First of all, to defeat Hamas in southern Gaza. It's disputable whether they've managed to achieve that. They also intended to capture the leader of Hamas, or kill him, Yahya Sinwar, and Mohammed Deis, his second in command. They've failed to do that. On Saturday, just hours before they started their pullout, there was a clash with Hamas in which 4 Israeli soldiers were killed and several wounded. So fighting is still going on. So it's certainly not that they feel that the operation is complete in southern Gaza, although several Israeli officers talking to the press did suggest that they had completely dismantled in Hamas in southern Gaza. That seems to be bravado more than anything else, an attempt to put a spin on what has happened. I think probably the biggest rationalization is the one that they're now giving today, which is they want to refit and regroup, and that they haven't given up on the idea of attacking Rafah in the south, where they believe there is a full Hamas brigade. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, has said on several occasions that unless that brigade is wiped out, victory will not be achieved against Hamas. But the question remains, even if they do manage to do that, will Hamas have been wiped out? And another question that remains is, now that the Israelis have pulled out of southern Gaza, what's going to replace them there? There's a vacuum of power at the moment. In the north, when they did that, Hamas moved back in again. One can only assume that the same thing may happen now in the south.
Rob, as this all continues to unfold, of course, in Gaza, talks are continuing as well in Egypt. We're just hearing, in fact, from Hamas, perhaps not surprisingly, saying there's been no progress in those talks. Are you hearing anything different at all?
Certainly no suggestion that any progress has been made. I mean, there are encouraging signs in that this is a high-level delegation that Israel has sent there. The United States has sent Bill Burns, head of the CIA. Obviously, the US is heavily invested in this, therefore. The Qatari foreign minister is there, the head of Egyptian intelligence, a Hamas delegation is there. So on all sides, there is pressure, and not least, of course, on the Israeli side, who, in addition to foreign pressure, and we had Joe Biden saying he wants an immediate ceasefire just a few days ago, the internal pressure, including a big demonstration in Jerusalem last night. Tens of thousands were there, making the demands that Israel has to put a greater accent on getting the release of the hostages. Netanyahu's popularity has been sinking steadily in Israel, so he feels that pressure for sure. But what is he prepared to give? Not very much, it would seem, at this stage. And with what we've just been saying about talk about a possible ground offensive against Rafah still going on, it's not clear where any sort of negotiation can take place. Hamas, for its part, doesn't seem ready at this stage to back away from its core demands, including the return of all Palestinians displaced from North Gaza back to North Gaza. Now, part of that reflects their desire to move back to North Gaza. Many of them moved to the south when Israel attacked the north, but Israel has put a brigade across, bisecting north and south, which remains there to this day and shows no signs of moving. So on neither side does there seem to be much willingness to move at this stage. So the answer to your question, I think, is that there is pessimism about any chance of a deal anytime soon.